Hello Nick, good evening to you and good evening to everybody. Welcome to the live stream for Formula 1 PSGL race round 11 Japan. We're just waiting for the last of the runners, if any, to join the lobby, and then we'll be underway with qualifying. Just as a note, it will be strict corner cutting for this one. By a single point, he will take the PSGL F1 Championship. An amazing achievement. Asbest will head the line. And Asbest is the PSGL F1 champion. He's done it. Asbest is the champion. Cliffy, what a battle we've seen today. And into the final corner for the final time in the PSGL F1 2017 era. And now he's had to wait a week, but he can now be officially declared as the PSGL F1 World Champion of Season 20. And Blizzard will cross the line and he will win the PSGL F1 Championship.
As the sun sets on another PSGL F1 season, a warm welcome to the Middle East and the Yas Marina circuit for the season finale of Season 21. All the championships have already been decided, but this will be a thrilling exhibition race between the very best of PSGL. We of course will have no threat of rain whatsoever here for a change, so here we are, the grand finale of this season. Your usual 18-minute qualifying session, followed by 28 laps of this circuit where we've been going racing in real life since 2009, where some really famous title deciders have taken place. Sebastian Vettel in 2010 coming from 4th in the standings before the race to win it, with Alonso getting stuck behind Vitaly Petrov famously. And then we've seen others, the Nico Rosberg-Hamilton fallout in 2016, and Hamilton winning the second of his titles, of course, in 2014. So we're going to have a quick look at this circuit as we see the splendid hotel here, which goes in Sector 3, this one in particular. This 5.5 kilometer circuit features 21 corners, a roller coaster ride of a Sector 1 followed by a hairpin, and then it's between turns 7 and 11, 2 DRS zones where we will see the majority of the overtaking, given that overtaking in Sector 3 is extremely difficult indeed. But we will see plenty of wheel-to-wheel action there. Who will get the braking right? Will anyone have to take to the runoff areas or get some really bad time penalties? So in terms of the tyres, well, it's another of those hyper soft tracks, and we expect to see heavy use of the ultra soft and super soft compounds during qualifying and the race. But hey, maybe one of these drivers will fancy the glory at least of getting a pole position before the season is over. So a final look then at the championship standings for PSGL F1 this season. Of course, both championships decided last season. VSL Blizzard has the opportunity to become the only driver to get triple figures, unless of course Lewis was to win. No, in fact he can't either, so ignore me. So Blizzard, the only driver who can finish on triple figures. Lewis in second, no longer the reigning champion. Game of the Best will be trying to get the runners-up spot for CCBRAIN, Big C and Abiodun with that brilliant win in Brazil last week, of course. Then Michemery, MaxiLucaGT5 and Falcon continuing to impress inside the top 10. And of course, as well as the Drivers' Championship, the Constructors' Championship was also decided in Brazil last week, and having finished runners-up last season, Toro Rosso have gone one better to become the Constructors' Champions of PSGL F1, thanks mainly to the efforts of the champion VSL Blizzard. Ferrari in second, battling Williams for the runners-up spot, with Mercedes, Renault and McLaren in a fight for 4th place. And then Racing Point India, Red Bull Racing and Haas will be trying to make more positions up, while Sauber, despite the best efforts of Liquor Blocks, hasn't really had the teammate because it looks like Sauber, unfortunately, are going to be getting the dreaded wooden spoon award in PSGL F1, which every team, every season, really wants to avoid. And, well, we can blame Leon for that, for not scoring many points during the season. Well, it looks like the action has already started. In fact, we had a slightly delayed start to try and get as many people into the lobby as possible for this final race. We have a lower turnout today, which perhaps to be expected with nothing on the line. So let's take you to this action immediately. Straight on track, going to make sure the game sound is on. Don't want to make that sort of mistake as we go on board with Leefindlay. So let's have a look then at the tyres and get the telemetry up on the screen for the viewers. Well, now that I've got the intro away, I can breathe a little bit and just sort of speak about my feelings personally as I do the final stream in my stint as PSGL F1 commentator. It's been a great ride, some great races during my time here. Took over in season 18. Seems a lifetime ago now, the very beginning of the F1 2017 era. It's seen a lot of changes, hasn't it? I mean, when we started, you know, Big C was a 7-time champion. You know, JackLacey had taken the title. There was a lot of drivers like Juliana Manu, Lordy Boy, Josh, Iran. And it feels like in my time there's been a real changing of the guard. A real new generation of PSGL F1 drivers has come through in that time. Because a lot of the drivers who were here at the very start of my commentating days in PSGL F1 are no longer here. But one of them, MaxiLuca, was actually the very first driver to win a race on one of my live commentaries full time. He won the Bahrain Grand Prix, the very first race I covered in season 18. And in fact, amazingly, despite that dominant pole position and win he got that day, that was his only victory in 4 seasons. But he's impressed recently, MaxiLuca. Despite the penalties he usually seems to get, he has had some good results in recent times, including some podiums. Probably robbed of one at Brazil, thanks to that contact with Blizzard on the final lap, virtually the final corner as well. Meaning that GamingAlimonda Best was picked up 3rd place. But that wasn't enough, with Blizzard picking up P2 and winning his first championship in PSGL F1. It could be the first of many, who knows? But we thought that when Ash Best won it, we thought that when Lewis won it. We've had 6 different champions in the past 6 seasons. Since Big C won his 7th title, we have not had any multi-champions since. So we had JackLacey in season 17. We had Jamie in season 18. Ash Best in season 19. Lewis last season. And then another Toro Rosso driver this season in VSR Blizzard. So it just shows you how competitive and how difficult it is to not only win the championship, but to go on and dominate it afterwards, which just makes some of the multi-champions such as Iran and Big C's achievement even more remarkable. So some early times being set of 1:34.349 from CCBRAIN on the Hypersofts and a 1:34.846 on the Ultrasofts by Abiodun. So a very good banker on the Ultrasofts by Abiodun, who won last week's race in such deserving fashion despite the late challenge from Blizzard and MaxiLuca late on. But it was a really accomplished display by the 4th India driver. It may be a sign of things to come in the future for him. If he can find that sort of pace regularly, who knows? He could be a title challenger next season. Because, as I alluded to, winning the championship is one thing. Defending it has proven to be an impossible task in recent seasons. But despite the slow start that he made, Lewis currently in the pit lane, you know, he'll be pleased with some of his drives this season. You know, in recent times, he's really shown the form that won him the championship last season. Now, as ever, let's have a quick look at the chat and see who is here. Well, we got Game Freaker, who had that unfortunate incident with Grumpy last night, and I'm sure he's here somewhere. Jack Tyler, Jay, we got Hammer Time, we got Aaron Collingwood, we got Chulo, very regular viewers here, and then Leon Bentley, who's driving for Renault. Didn't have a great race in Brazil last week, but he still has that podium at Singapore to at least bring home. And who else have we got here? We've got J. Ray Bay as well, regular Praxis associate of mine who's really helped with setups at times, particularly Hungary, where I probably had my best drive of the season in F7, probably the only race in F7 where I generally was the quickest in the field in qualifying and the race. So I thank you for the help you had on that race, because that was a lot of fun. And then we got GamingAlimonda Best, who's in the chat, getting ready for his final qualifying session of the season with the rest of the drivers. And we got Cablo, my F7 admin. All the best to the F7 boys next season. Go from strength to strength. Lewis Milam, and I just think that was the other Lewis is somewhere around here. Onto the podium as well. And then Epic Gamer. It's Jamie, I believe. I always forget your name. I am very sorry. And that's about it. Well, there's so many comments. I think we're running out here. And Liquor Blocks, of course, good rapport with him. And, well, here we go. The AMS, is that AMS or Lewis getting a tow from the back of the Mercedes? Let's have a look then at a lap of this circuit. And I think Lewis will give him some airtime in this. Now, who is that? That's Leefindlay. Is he on a flying lap? Yeah, we'll just finish with Leefindlay, actually. And just see how he deals with this tight right-hander here. It can be tricky. Very easy to outbrake yourself there and go wide. You can lose so much time if you get your braking wrong. It's kind of a slightly downhill corner there, and that's where you lose the time. So Leefindlay heading towards the final corner. I think Lewis just behind him. He's building up. I know it goes back into the pits. So let's go then on board with Lewis as he starts a lap then. He's on the super soft tyres at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what kind of grip he has. So across the line he goes then, taking as wide a line as possible to get a nice tight entry into the corner. Nice bit of curve, not too much. Pretty much perfect execution there. Then flying up through turns 2, 3 and 4. Very thrilling corner here. Seeing two cars go side by side here is a sight to behold. Then putting it down to second gear for the chicane at the end of sector 1. And then the slowest corner on the track. Turn 7, the hairpin. So important to get contraction out of here to get the best possible turn. And look at that. Lewis has a decent tow on the car ahead. I wonder if he's invalidated already. He was weaving a bit, or maybe trying to get the tow. And then one of the really hard braking zones on this track. Turn 8. Watch for the marker board to time your braking point here. And then not taking too much throttle to get the best traction out of turn 9. Then onto the second DRS zone. Hugging the wall almost. And then going back out wide. Watch out for the marker boards there. Timing your braking again. Don't want to take too much curb on the first one, but then you really attack these next two curbs here to take as much time as possible. Because if you don't attack those curbs, you can really lose a few tenths. And that could make the difference. It's such a tight field in PSGL F1. Oh, no, has he invalidated? I think he's backed off number 99 in the splendid red Ferrari. These cars look so great when the lights go out here at Abu Dhabi. But I get the sense Lewis may have invalidated just then. And here is Game of the Best then. We'll just have a quick look at him as he negotiates. Turn 7, the hairpin. May see a couple of drivers try a half move there, but getting a actual move done there is really dependent on the other car getting that corner completely wrong. It's more of a set-up corner than to try and overtake in turn 8. But a lot of the strategy of this track does involve just, trying to, overtake here and then trying to get as good traction as possible, because you can get attacked back. It's not a double DRS zone, because if you are the lead car and you overtake before turn 8, you can be vulnerable to be attacked back into turn 11 here. So they've really got to think about that. We'll see a lot of cars hugging the inside, trying to force them to the outside. But that's no guarantee of a defence, because if the other car goes late on the brakes and gets a better turn into the corner, even covering the inside all the way down from turn 9 to 11 is no guarantee of defending the position. As Abiodun smashes in a hypersoft lap, a 134 flat. If any more drivers go on the hypersofts, then we may well see that go time into the 33s. But given that there's no actual championship on the line, I fancy some of these drivers actually go on hypersofts. And you know what? They'll have a proper qualifying session and then have some fun on track. I think even with 13 cars, we will see some great action here tonight for PSGL F1. So let's have a quick look at the gaps. So it's just over 2.5 tenths between Falcon and Abiodun, but that's a very good ultra soft. Is that ultra soft time? Yes, ultra soft time for Falcon. So he's the fastest ultra soft runner at the moment. The only one who's actually set a time on that. Big C and Little Blocks coming out of the pits onto their outlaps. So we will see them shortly. Of course, Big C, one of the few ever-present drivers in this league since season 18 when I started commentating. And, he's put some fabulous drives in that time. Hasn't quite reached the success he had previously, but I don't think he'll be too concerned about that. He certainly had one of the best qualifying laps I've ever seen in this league at Monaco in particular. That pole position was wasn't going into that weekend, or should I say evening. He wasn't really one of the favourites in that qualifying session, but he pulled out a stunning lap to take pole position at Monaco. Certainly, for me, top 3 qualifying laps during my time in PSGL F1. So he's on his out lap, as is Liquidblock. So Big C on the Hypersofts, it might be a sort of dummy lap, and Liquidblock, sorry, on the Ultrasoft. So this is certainly an attack lap. Just over 6 minutes of the final qualifying session of the season to go. So Liquidblocks will head to the line to start his lap. We've got yellows in sector 3. It's probably just cars getting out of the way. Now, of course, something I haven't talked about so far, tyre temps. Real issue at this track, especially for those on the paddle wall. Liquidblocks runs wide straight away. Is he already invalidated? Can pick up a warning there if you go a bit too wide, and that would be an instant invalidation, of course. Oh, my goodness, Liquidblocks getting a big snap from the back. That would have lost him a few tenths, so it's not been a particularly strong lap from Liquidblocks so far, and he's already backed off. So, yeah, a bit of a nightmare already. So here we go. Big C on the Hypersofts. Is he going to try and end this season, in fact this year, in PSGL F1 on a high with a pole position at least? As he flies down the second DRS section. Hoping to see a few free wide moments at least. 59% of this track is on full throttle, and I dare say the majority of that is between turn 7 and 11. And then it really slows down in sector 3. Big C's got some traffic up ahead. Leon is one of them, who thankfully gets out of the way, although that would have distracted Big C a little bit, but I'm sure he's experienced enough to deal with traffic like that. He and Game of the Best, the only two drivers left who were involved in that four-way title battle back in season 18, where both of them came so close to winning championship, but in the end it was Jamie who took his one and only so far, and it's a 1:33.527 by Big C, so there's no sandbagging here from Connor. CCBRAIN 1:33.833 as well earlier. So that's a great lap from Big C. So I think these guys are not worried about tyres too much. I think they just want to have some fun out there this evening. And why not? It's the final race of the season. Nothing to worry about. They can tear those engines and gearboxes apart, because they will not be needed until 2019. And I'm sure these teams can afford new ones. So Big C going to scamper back to the pits. Most of the cars in the pits at the moment. What about CSR Leon? He is on a lap on the Hypersofts. It was a nightmare season for him in many ways, but everyone was so pleased for him when he got his podium at Singapore. So in terms of past races here at Abu Dhabi, we've not had too many, which is to be expected. There hasn't been too much use for it. So in recent times, we've had 6 races here before tonight. Iran winning the first ever PSGL F1 race here in season 11. 2 seasons later, Big C took his second pole position, but this time taking the race win. Jamie winning here in season 15 with Shortbread on pole position. And then a name which may be familiar to some of you veterans, Killer Blue, taking pole position in F1 2016. And McPhee, one of those old PSGL veterans who used to be the director on the site, taking the race win that day. And then Greeny LFC in season 17, taking pole position that day. And Zalan Hun taking the race victory. So there's some really old names who we have seen in the past. And then last time we were here, Game of the Best took pole position and the race win. A really dominant display, but it wasn't enough for him to take the race win, as Leon records a 1:35.974 on the Supersofts. But I don't think he's going to have enough time to put another lap in, so that's unfortunate for him. Sambamkid in a decent 8th position at the moment. He's on an outlap on the Ultrasofts. So a 1:35.974 on the Hypersofts. So that's no, he's actually on the Super. So I think he's looking to start outside the top 10 on the Ultimate Strategy. So now let's see what. So the top 4 all on the Hypersofts, and Big C's fitted another set as well. He needs to get out of the pit so quickly. Blizzard fitting the Ultrasofts. So let's see if Blizzard can jump above any of the Hypersoft runners up ahead of him. Doesn't need to find too much time to get ahead of the likes of Falcon and Abiodun, but it would be a simply stunning lap if he were to get to the like CCBRAIN, and let alone Big C's 1:33.527. So Liquidblocks building up then for a lap on the Hypersofts. Game of the Best. So both Williams on the Ultrasofts. MaxiLuca on the Hypersofts as well. So we're about to get a real barnstorm, and Big C with a 1:33.527 has opted not to come out again. So he's confident that time will be good enough. I'm sorry, I'm going to be coughing a few times because I have got a little bit of a cold, but I'm going to fight through the pain to make sure this broadcast goes off without a hitch. We've got 27 watching so far. I think given that we don't advertise better, I'm not expecting the kind of figures we got in Season 19, where we had over 60 watching for that title decider, the Showdown Suzuka, which was probably the most intense commentary I've ever done. The fact that a title was decided on level points, which had never happened in the history of the league. So CCBRAIN then, Game of the Best is Game of the Best already wide. And 1:33.975 by Game of the Best. So he has finished his qualifying. What a lap by Game of the Best. The first into the 33s on the Ultra Softs. So Blizzard has done a 1:34.396 on the Super Softs. Wow. That's his best lap, apparently. So maybe he has got a chance. Blizzard has had such good pace in qualifying. Blizzard carrying on for the time being. CCBRAIN just behind. So CCBRAIN definitely aiming for a pole position. He's on the hypers, so he is going for it. Yes, we do have 50 watching now. I didn't actually update, so that's even better. So Liquor Blocks 1:33.492. So he has struck first. MaxiLuca in third. So now it's all down to the likes of Blizzard. The qualifying's really getting exciting now. Liquor Blocks 1:33.492. So Big C will share the front row of him. MaxiLuca up to P3. Game of the Best drops down to P5. So can Blizzard take what would be an unbelievable pole position and would give him a real strategy advantage? But Blizzard runs wide onto the curbs, but he should be okay. I don't think that's an invalidation. Goes a little deep in the pole. He nearly runs really wide, and again it's a really slow exit. But what's he going to do? He heads for the line, and it's an invalidation, I think. Blizzard has messed up here. Here comes CCBRAIN on the Hypersofts. Is he going to cross the line? There's cars everywhere. CCBRAIN was distracted, I think, by that, and CCBRAIN doesn't improve. So it looks like Liquor Blocks is going to take pole position. But is anyone else out there? No, here comes Lewis on the Ultra Softs. What's he going to do? Around the final corner comes Lewis. It is P5. He is the fastest Ultra Soft runner by 3/10. Well, nearly 3/10 anyway. So that's a great lap from Lewis to put him in P5. So Blizzard, the reigning champion, will be starting in P11. So you have fresh tyre choice, so you won't be too disappointed with that. So it's a very mixed-up grid here. Abiodun, last week's race winner, could only manage P7. But what was his best tyre anyway? It was the Hypersoft. So he got out-qualified by 2 Ultrasoft runners. He'll be really disappointed with that. But he will have traction advantage in the opening laps. But those Hypersofts will go off pretty quickly. And Leon did 2 laps on the Hypersofts. His best, so he's going to be at a massive disadvantage tyre-wise. Yeah, well actually, because his car's been just going around the track. So he's going to be getting all sorts of wear now. That's not good. So we're just waiting for MaxiLuca to return to the pits. Taking good care of his tyres, and you have to do that with these very vulnerable Hypersoft tyres. But look how close that qualifying session was. Less than a 10th and a half between the top 5. One of the closest qualifying sessions of the season. Sensational stuff here at the Yas Marina circuit. So we'll have a quick look at the qualifying results. Liquor Blocks then taking pole position from Big C by the narrowest of margins, and MaxiLuca setting the same time as Big C. CCBRAIN in 4th, Lewis in 5th, Game of the Best in 6th, Abiodun in 7th, AMS in 8th, CSR Leon and Falcon making up row 5 for Renault, Blizzard, Sambamkid and Leefindlay making up the grid. Only a second covering the top 13, but a huge gap between the top 5 and the rest. So now we're going to wait then for the session to load, and we're going to just have a quick commercial break. So we'll be right back.
It's go! And Damon Hill leads into the first bend!
Murray?
There's been a shunt! It's Hill!
Murray, we're just out for a quiet pizza. Stop commentating.
Sorry.
We'll have a pepperoni, please.
Hill orders a Pizza Hut pepperoni and cheese stuffed crust. It's got a delicious ring of cheese and slices of pepperoni baked into a thinner crust.
And here comes the pasta!
piece of pizza, Murray.
Hill's going for it. And he's spun his pizza through 180 degrees.
Pepperoni and cheese stuffed crust from Pizza Hut. It'll turn around the way you look at pizza.
And Hill finishes second again. He's lost it. He's out of control.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Dug that one out, didn't I? A very classic Formula 1 advert featuring the legendary Murray Walker and, of course, the man that a lot of people say I sound like, Damon Hill. So we're going to go on to the formation lap rather here for the final time this season in PS2 F1 at the Yas Marina circuit. A lot of divided opinions about the circuit, but I like driving on this circuit. I had some really good races here. First time I raced here in F4. It was a battle for the Constructors' Championship against Tejuar and Craig Pinchek. My teammate was Blue Mosquito. It was a great race. I think Michael, aka Fanis, commentated on that one. And then we sealed the Constructors' Championship, myself and Grumpy, a few seasons later in the last season of F1 2016. So, and then of course in F1 2018. So all three of the Constructors' Championships I won were all at this track. So I have a lot of fond memories of good races here. Always gone strong here at that particular level. Of course, at this level, I don't think I'd be anywhere. So who's going to be the Kimi Räikkönen and not really move at all? I think it's going to be... I see one Ferrari space not moving, doing a Kimi impression there. Yep, game sound is on. Good stuff. So we are getting all set for the final race here. Well, I'm sure we're going to get some donuts after the race. So... keep your hair on. I'm hoping we will see some. So Lickle blocks them. What's his thoughts then as he takes... Is this his first pole position PSGL F1? Someone will have to fill me in on that. He's had some really strong qualifying performances this season. I can't quite remember if he's had a pole position. This Game of the Best gets disqualified from the session, so he'll have cold tyres, but that'll probably help him to a degree. Tyre temps, especially on the rears for the pad drivers, will be quite difficult to handle. Let's have a quick look then at the tyres for those outside the top 10. Super softs for all of them, which is not too surprising at the moment. So the likes of Lewis and Game of the Best on the ultra softs, they'll be the ones to keep an eye on, because after a few laps, they will be able to attack the top 4 on the hyper softs. Look at that, the liquid block slowing right down to reduce the tyre temps, and that is very wise. This is not going to be a rush of a formation lap at all. Let's get the telemetry turned off so we can get a cinematic experience as we head to the line as Lickle Blocks leads the field around the final corner for the final formation lap of the season, and we get ready for 28 laps of the Yas Marina circuit. And well, I will say this again, thanks everybody who's been watching my streams. Let's see if this is a classic to end my reign at the top on PSGL F1 commentary. As we get on the line, the crowd goes silent with anticipation as the engines come on. I just want a good camera angle. Charlie Whiting, please give us those red lights. We don't want any glitches, and we are going to get them. 5 red lights for the last time. And it is go at Abu Dhabi. It's a good start from Lickle Blocks. He's left Big C in his wake, and that's going to allow Lewis and the Mercedes of CCBRAIN to go around. Big C's got an appalling start. He's already down to 4th, and watch out behind. The Force India forcing Falcon wide. So Lickle Blocks will go down leader now. Look behind. Is there going to be any attacks? Abiodun looking to look behind. It is Falcon launching an attack. Oh, contact between Lewis and Abiodun, and look at that, 3 wide through the hairpin. Well, we're going to stick with that. Look at this. This will be a great view. Look at these fights going on here as we get a great view from the rear of the Renault of Falcon. Well, I want to see something different here. So any moves going to be happening into turn 9. Not for the time being. Oh, AMS having a little look there. So for the time being, it's as you were. But look at that. Lewis really attacking the Force India up ahead. So let's have a look at this. Abiodun covering the inside. He's already wiped out the DRS board. He's already struggling with the Hypersofts. So here comes Lewis, the Season 20 champion. They're almost going 3 wide into what will be second DRS, and Lewis will sweep round the outside. Can he get it slowed down? He does. And Abiodun forced across the curve. That's a corner cut, surely. He's going to have to give that back. But I don't think he's going to. I think some of the rules are going to go out the window. And Falcon flying off the track, but back on. Here comes Lewis. He's going to try and make a move down the inside. Fifth position's already lost 2.4 seconds to the top 4. So we get a nice shot of the hotel and through the bay of all these expensive yachts. Lewis continuing to hound Abiodun, last week's race winner. And Leefindlay is out of the race. We have a retirement already. That's unfortunate. Leefindlay's given some great entertainment since joining the league, but he is now out of it. So let's have a quick look at the front and see what's going on there. Any movement from the top 3? Not at the moment. MaxiLuca, I think, has gone up to second. I think CCBRAIN made a mistake somewhere. So now Liquorblocks under pressure from MaxiLuca and CCBRAIN. Let's go back to Lewis, see the battle for 5th position. For the time being, look how close they are. This midfield battle. Sambamkid's had an issue somewhere. It's had a wing change. I think it might well be. Let's have a look. Let's focus our attention to the front because MaxiLuca looking to launch an attack on the Sauber of Liquorblocks. Liquorblocks could get a win here. His team may yet escape the embarrassment of the wooden spoon in PSGL F1. He's made the perfect start so far. But we'll go straight back to the battle because now Lewis getting a good run. And as the Ultrasofts grip in, they're going to be in the ascendancy over the Hypersofts, which will be wearing quicker and gaining temperature quicker. The switch back by Lewis, he dives down the inside, and this time they'll go side by side for the following corners, and he cuts the corner this time. Bit of payback on Abiodun for the previous lap. Abiodun is going to lose another position as well. All these Hypersofts are already going off side by side as we go into the middle of Sector 3. Abiodun will have the inside though. Oh, he goes a mile wide. Track limits. Charlie Weising's not going to be happy about this. Gaming the best currently in P8. Kind of stuck behind the Abbey train, I think we're going to call it. So Lewis, highest running Ultrasoft runner at the moment, and now he can start to give chase to the top 4 as Leon picks up the first time penalty of the race. So it's been a really frantic start to this race, especially in the lower order of the top 10. The DRS is now enabled, although Liquorblocks has a decent advantage. So let's focus our attention on MaxiLuca then. Is he getting close to Liquorblocks? They go through the DRS activation zone. You just see the line right there. Just went over it. So he's in DRS range. Let's see what his straight line speed is like as he goes on the power from turn 7. Such an important part of the track begins. Turn 7 to 11. You will see the majority of the overtakes in this race here. But the top 2 are actually leaving CCBRAIN and Big C behind just a little bit. MaxiLuca nowhere near close enough to get the challenge on. Let's get the telemetry on so we can get an idea of the engine modes they are using, and of course the battery, and the DRS flap opens, and MaxiLuca a lot closer this time. Liquorblocks getting a poor exit out of the second chicane, I should say. Into the second one they go. No movement for the time being. Let's have a quick look at AMS. Who's going to go for a move onto the inside of Leon? Oh, they bang wheels. I don't think AMS was quite in front enough to make that move stick, but he certainly seemed to have a bit more straight line speed. And look, the Hypersofts of Leon, who did multiple laps on them because his AI car was going around the track, is now losing more time, but we'll go straight back to the front. With the small amount of cars, it should be fairly simple to keep an eye on all the battles. So 1.4 second gap between the top 2, but MaxiLuca, how fitting with it. Oh, and down the inside at the final corner. Well, you don't see a move there often. Contact between the 2. MaxiLuca did say he would be aggressive in this race, and that certainly was a highly unusual place to see an overtaking opportunity in turn 21, just before the end of the lap. That cost them 0.6 of a second. Oh, and Liquorblocks runs wide. Massive understeer. I think those tyres may be screaming temperature-wise already. They don't last long, the Hypersofts, and this is going to allow them all to close in. Oh, what's happened to Lewis? Something's happened to Lewis. Oh, I think he's lost it in Sector 1. He's got wing damage. So the last 2 champions in this league having all sorts of problems. Meanwhile, up ahead, Falcon is under attack. We'll switch straight back to MaxiLuca. Actually, it's going to be a move here, but we're going to go... Oh, my goodness, look at this. They're almost going 3 wide out of the chicane. Liquorblocks maintaining the lead. We're going to stick with this. Sensational action here at Abu Dhabi, as it often does, just like F1 2016 and 18. Almost going to go 3 wide into turn 11. Liquorblocks just about maintaining the lead for the time being. CCBRAIN up to second now. But he's been forced wide. MaxiLuca, is he going to take both of them on the inside? He's going to try to. He forces Liquorblocks off the track. MaxiLuca will take the lead. Well, this can only end tears. They've got to give each other some room. Oh my goodness. Liquorblocks going to dive down the inside and retake the lead. This is absolutely sensational stuff here at Yas Marina. And Oh, forced off again. They are getting their elbows out. It's like something out of WWE with the amount of elbow smashes we are getting here. So CCBRAIN was briefly leading, and Littleblock has had another of those Ultra Softs, and he carries on. Big C hasn't really been involved in any of this, so actually he's going to make his Ultra Softs last bit. Oh, Leon is out of the race. What on earth has happened to Leon? That must have been in Sector 3. So that is Sector 3, must have been. Littleblock's Abiodun, Lewis pits. Let's have a look at the pits quickly. I think that's wing damage for Abiodun as well, by the looks of it. No, it's not actually. So onto the Super Softs he goes. Sambamkid retires from the race. So we've had 3 retirements already. So everyone is going to score points in this. Hopefully this doesn't mean we're not going to get many battles. Oh, I really thought he was stuck for a second. So Big C. And that up ahead, CCBRAIN is going to battle with MaxiLuca for the lead of this race. And it's an easy DRS drag race won by the Mercedes driver there. CCBRAIN into the lead of the PSGL F1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But can MaxiLuca come back at him? Those Ultra Softs look done and dusted. They've been ground onto dust in the Middle East, as much as the desert would be. Big C is going to try and go for a move. Oh my goodness! Oh, Big C, what was that? The brakes, no temperature at all. He's just flown straight into the side of Mercedes and damaged his wing. Goodness me. Are we watching F6 or F1? What on earth is going on there? That is quite possibly the worst mistake I've ever seen Big C make. Maybe that almost looked like his pedals failed or something. That was so unusual to see Big C get the brakes that horribly wrong. But luckily he didn't damage either car. But I think there will be a significant whack on the side of that Mercedes. After that, Big C will have to pit surely, and he does. Oof, MaxiLuca just hit the side of the wall. What on earth happened there? MaxiLuca just damaged his wing, and he had to stop to select repair wing. Goodness me. Well, they're all bottling it, and it's playing into the hands of CCBRAIN. So, Game of the Best up to 2nd, Falcon in 3rd, AMS in 4th, Blizzard in 5th on the Super Softs. We've had a lot of pit stops, all for unforced errors to a degree. So we've got 10 running at the moment. So MaxiLuca clearly had no grip left. Doing a fine impression of David Coulthard at the 1995 Australian Grand Prix, where he just embarrassingly hit the pit wall. Luckily though for Maxi, he was able to continue, unlike the Scotsman back then. But CCBRAIN, you know, he got pole position at Singapore, and he really should have got the win to a degree there, but he just didn't quite have the speed and strategy. But he will be looking good to win this race, but he's got to get those hypersofts. It's still going to be really difficult for him to make this work. Any battles on track at the moment? Not for the time being. So we're going to wait for it all to settle down. Littleblock's on the ultra stop, so he's clearly going for a 2-stop strategy. Lewis is as well. So the lights are it's the guys between 2nd and 5th. They look likely to be on the 1-stop now, so they're in the ascendancy at the moment. Blizzard will be able to go deep into the race, and he will finish on the ultra softs at least, so he will have the best tyres at the end of the race, you would think. So no battles at the moment, so it's a bit of a lull in proceedings. So let us know what your impressions of the race are so far. Blizzard pits after 6 laps on the super softs. It's a wing change for Blizzard. So reigning and former champions alike are all falling apart here. So Blizzard, well, he would have been, if he had kept his strategy going, he would have been a real contender for the race victory. So Game of the Best now closing in on CCBRAIN. Those hypersofts must be very close to being finished. So they got the track position, but this is where the pain is really felt. Game of the Best had that sensational victory at Singapore with that one-stop strategy. And once again, he's chasing down the Brain, who tends to put on some great strategy to make up for his lack of ultimate speed. But Game of the Best in some ways is a combination of speed and strategy. At times he is untouchable. Just hasn't been able to have that consistently throughout the season at every track. But as it stands, Game of the Best will be the championship runner-up in PSGL F1 for the second time. Which, even though it doesn't mean he's won a championship, is no fine feat. As CCBRAIN pulls off into the pits. 7 laps on the Hypersofts is not a bad effort, to be fair. The Game of the Best takes the lead of the race. So we're going to have some battles then, because Lewis is caught up to the back of Big C. So let's have a look then. Through Sector 3 they go, underneath the hotel. I get the sense the hotel is probably the reason some of these streams get blocked, but hopefully mine doesn't get blocked. I would be quite disappointed. We will have no more commercial breaks. We will see the action to the end. This is not ITV. Oh, we only have commercials when there's nothing going on, as Lewis sets a blistering pace on the Ultra Shot to 1:37.578. So this is your closest on-track battle. The 7-time champion against the season 20 champion, McLaren versus Ferrari. This is a classic Formula 1 rivalry right here, and wouldn't it be great to see McLaren and Ferrari battling for wins again, like the old days. So Lewis, experienced enough not to go for a move at turn 7. He's going to build up the power. Let's compare their batteries. No, very similar. Big C will go into full power to try and defend. I wonder if Lewis will think about holding off. Nope. Full attack. Here we go. The prancing horse dives down the inside of the orange McLaren. And he goes up. But now Big C is going to have an opportunity to come back at him. And that's a really poor exit out of turn 9. Here comes Big C. He's going to have a really good straight line speed. He's on the super soft tyres. Big C will go back out into what would be a 7th position. And Big C showing much better braking than he did a few laps ago. Back in front. Good traction now this corner by Lewis as MaxiLuca closes in. So these guys may be out of the fight for the win, but they're going to give us a ding-dong battle in the low orders of the top 10. So here comes Lewis then. But he'll be slightly frustrated in that cockpit. He would have felt like he got the move done, but I think he will learn his lesson. He'll think, okay, we're not going to try and pass Big C at the first DRS because he'll just overtake us. So is he going to try and surprise him, maybe going into the first chicane at the end of Sector 1, or perhaps just waiting off for turn 11, the final part of the Blizzard. Sets really good pace on those ultra softs at the moment. This is your only on-track battle. Will MaxiLuca get involved in the fun? Big C able to take the fast right and left-hander with a bit more pace. So I think he's got slightly more rear downforce, allowing him to do that. So Lewis right behind Big C's McLaren. But these two may just fancy a good old-fashioned tussle to entertain the viewing public. Got over 50 viewers now. Thank you once again. And Big C doesn't have the straight line speed at the moment. Now Lewis, what he's going to have to try and do is cut Big C off. Try and make sure Big C's exit out of this corner. Simply doesn't work. And yes, look at that. Much better exit this time for Lewis. And I think Big C, he'll be able to close back in on him. But I don't think he's going to make a move this time. Or will he go for the kind of lunge we saw a few laps ago? We haven't quite reached the 10th lap of this race. So there's a long way to go. Strategies will still play out. But Game of the Best with a 7.8 advantage on the same tyres, Falcon, AMS and Lickleblocks actually. And Game of the Best pits then on lap 8, so they're not able to make these tyres last. So temp's clearly an issue of some of these drivers. And look at this, Lickleblocks going for a move down the inside at the final corner. Alongside AMS they go. Perfect timing on my part to catch that. Now, not like MaxiLuca, Lickle getting the move done. So we've seen this several times, unusual moves. So Lickleblocks with a great move to move up to 2nd position. And he's in the net lead of the race, but don't forget, he will have to pit again. So I think Lickle is going for the Hypersoft, Ultrasoft strategy. Now, given on the one stop, the super softs do go off really at the end of the race. That could be the right strategy to be on. We will see. Can AMS do anything about the fellow Ferrari powered car up ahead on lap 10 of the Abu Dhabi PSGL F1 Grand Prix? Not close enough at the moment. So let's have a look at Big C and MaxiLuca. Big C, is he able to close in? All three of these cars starting to close in on 6th place Abiodun. Game of the Best has come out in P5 and in clean air on the super softs. So if he can get those tyres to the end, he's a contender to win this race for sure. So Lewis getting a good exit once again, but Big C a little bit closer than he was the previous lap when he was overtaken. So Big C Lewis is definitely feeling he has to go defensive. Can Big C close in on Lewis? No, he's not close enough at the moment. So the battle for P7 continues. MaxiLuca just sort of biding his time. But look, they've taken 3/10 of Abiodun in that sector alone. So Abiodun's got a... Oh, yellow's in sector 3. MaxiLuca's out of the race. What on earth happened there? I think he's lost it round this corner. Or just before. So Blizzard out of the race. MaxiLuca, I should say. I'm sorry. So we've only got 9 runners now. 4 retirements then. And Littleblocks now right on the back of Falcon in the battle for the lead as we get this fantastic camera shot here from the helicopter. Now can Little go for a move down the inside? He's not close enough to it. No, he's definitely backed off. He didn't want to make a move there. AMS pits then, getting his sim done. Oh, Little diving down the inside. And he's going to take the position there, but he'll get the DRS, but he's going to have the slipstream to deal with a Falcon. So whether that's a smart move, I'm not sure. He'll get the DRS, but that may not be much help. Little's going to try and cover the inside. He's going to have to. Falcon's going to try and come back. He's going to try and come back at him at the outside. Now he's got to keep a tight line here. Get on the power at the right time because he's going to get DRS now. Here we go. Watch the DRS. Wing open. Falcon's going to definitely come back a little. He's got so much more straight line speed with that DRS as well. And here we go. Little's going to go to the outside. They're going to go side by side. Little, a little love kiss there. And Little maintains the place. So that was well executed. I think he caught Falcon off guard into that hairpin. And that set it all up there. And Falcon couldn't quite recover from that. Of course, he has got much older ultra soft tyres. But he's gone the furthest of any of the ultra soft runners. So in terms of the one stop, he's in the best position at the moment. Let's go back to Big C. Now the battle for 5th is about to begin. With Abiodun going miles wide. We saw him struggling on the hypersofts early on. Doesn't seem to have quite the balance of the car. With Falcon picking up a 3-second time penalty. He accidentally cut a corner trying to get into the pits. He's lost. What on earth's happened to Falcon? Something really bad happened to Falcon. He lost 2 seconds. Lewis is pitted after only 6 laps on those ultra softs. So he's going to go on to the super softs at the end of the race. So it's been a real disaster of a race so far for Lewis. So Big C, you know, still in the hunt for a podium, I would feel. So only 9 cars left in this race. MaxiLuca, Sambamkid, CSR, Leon, Leefindlay, all retiring in the first 12 laps of this race. So your current race order: Littleblocks, Falcon, CCBRAIN, Game of the Best, Abiodun, Big C, Blizzard, AMS, and Lewis at the back coming out of the pits. At least I hope he is, and he is. And CCBRAIN's just overtaken Falcon. Falcon seems to have a problem. I'm going to have a look at him in a minute, but here comes Big C trying to get past Abiodun. Didn't quite get close enough. Let's have a quick look at Falcon. Falcon's trying to come back at CCBRAIN. Is he going to be able to get past him? No, he's not. Falcon will surely have to think about a pit stop because he's losing so much time. Here comes Big C, the 7-time champion. He's going to try and pass Abiodun round the outside, the Brazil race winner. And he does comfortably. Much fresher tyres. At least by the looks of that. Only 1 lap younger than Abiodun, but seems to be looking after them better. So up to 5th goes Big C, but he's 6 seconds behind Game of the Best. It just shows you how much time they lost on the hypersofts when they went off. They are. Oh, Abiodun with it. Oh, can he save it? Oh, he nearly did, but Abiodun, no. He's hit the wall. He's going to have to come in for another set of tyres, unfortunately. Goodness me, it's been a very sloppy race in a way, and Falcon has stayed out an extra lap. And oh, that's Littleblocks up ahead. He has binned it in sector 2. And luckily the ghosting was working, otherwise it would have been an enormous accident. So CCBRAIN still in the lead of this race. Here comes Game of the Best. He's going to be heading towards 2nd position here. Falcon surely doesn't have a chance of defending this with those old tyres. So Littleblocks was in a great position perhaps to win this race. Oh, a massive lock by Game of the Best. That's going to make a horrible exit for him. Even with these old tyres, Falcon may have half a chance. We've only got 8 runners now. And Littleblocks has left the session. Can Falcon come back at him? Surely he doesn't have the tyres to go on the brakes, and he doesn't. So Falcon is going to head to the pit shortly. He'll probably come out in 8th position, or maybe 7th actually. He is going to have the best tyres in terms of the one-stop by some distance. 13 laps on the Ultra Softs, a good effort from Falcon. And in terms of the lead, he's only actually ended up 4 seconds behind, which is not a bad effort at all. Of course, he is going to have to make this time back up, but he'll have very fresh. No, he's still going to go. What's he waiting for? He can definitely go to the end on Super Softs from here. But impressive tyre management for Falcon, even though he is losing time. But that extra lap may prove costly for him. So you get the sense that the middle of this race could be somewhat uninteresting, but they're all going to come together at the end, you would think. There's a lot of different strategies out there. But Abiodun's mistake probably cost him any chance, really, of being a factor here. But the pace of some of these drivers is so great that they can make up these gaps. So in terms of the overall gap, Lewis is 25 seconds behind the race leader. Wow. Even for Lewis, that's probably impossible to overcome. Now Blizzard will be pissing again. Falcon, of course, definitely will be. So AMS and Big C will be promoted into 3rd and 4th, respectively. Lewis may become a factor in terms of the likes of Blizzard and Falcon pitting, because they'll be on the Super Softs as well. Lewis has only just pitted for the Super Softs. So let's have a look at the race leader then. CCBRAIN on the Super Softs, 6 laps old. And he's slowly being caught by Game of the Best, looking for his 3rd victory of the season. And he has an enormous opportunity to do so, given the problems that the other drivers he usually battles with have had, you know, to an extent, disasters. Liquor Blocks and MaxiLuca, you know, in terms of the top 4, we've lost half of it. Liquor Blocks was on pole. MaxiLuca was up there as well. So in terms of the winners and losers in positions, Abiodun picks up a 3-second time penalty. Oh, and another retirement. Abiodun out of the race. Are we racing at Monaco? Have I missed something? That's the 6th retirement of the race. Goodness me. This is amateur hour in PS4 F1 tonight. Except for this man. So far, Game of the Best. A calculating, meticulous performance from him. What's going on at the back? AMS, has he made a mistake somewhere? Blizzard, up to 4th with the intervals. There are certain drivers in the field which are starting to close up a bit. Falcon pitted, that's why we had the position changes, so no actual incident. So Falcon's pitted then, and he's on the Super Soft. No, he's on the Ultra Softs. That can't be right. No, he's still out there, so he must have made a mistake. He stayed out a lap too long. What's he doing? I think he's back. Oh, has he got a punch at the rear left? He has. I think he's got a punch at the rear left. He's going very slowly. Yeah, he's being overtaken. Yeah, he's pulled to the side. I think it's a rear left puncher or something like that. Either way, they've gone completely. So Falcon clearly doing a Pirelli tyre test because he stayed out far too long on those tyres. He's going to have to limp back to the pits. He's still going to be finished 7th at least, though, would you believe? So despite the fact there's only 7 cars on track, Blizzard picks up another time penalty. I think he's got 6 seconds now. I mean, it has been a while since Blizzard's won a race in PS4 F1, so it's not exactly been a comfortable end to the season for him. Just trying to remember, when was his last victory? Blizzard's last victory was at the German Grand Prix, which including this one was 5 races ago. And since then he's had 2 podiums, one at Hungary, one at Brazil, both 2nd, and then 2 5th place finishes at Belgium and Singapore. So that does give the competition hope for next season, that he's not invincible. So let's go back to Game of the Best, whose pursuit of the Mercedes of CCBRAIN has been ramped up. Just going to have a quick look at Falcon. Oh, he's lost it in the pits. Deary me. That just sums up his... So the pit lane being a bit of a problem for some of the drivers today. So Falcon's one-stop strategy has been a complete and utter disaster. A really bad day at the office for Renault. Although Falcon may still be able to finish 7th and get some points at least. You know, if he pitted a bit earlier, he could have been in the fight for the win. Falcon's retired from P7. I don't understand that. I really don't. You know, he was on to get some points at least. He could have had some fun at the end. He may as well have just kept going, but clearly didn't fancy it. So we now only have 6 runners. Over half the field have been eliminated. I tell you, I didn't expect this going into tonight's race. That is for sure. But we have got a battle for the lead and a battle for 3rd place as well. So despite the fact we've only got 6 drivers, we're still going to have some great racing action for you. Maybe a bit of Christmas sherry has been handed around to the PSGL F1 drivers before this race, because it would explain some of the driving we've seen this evening. But it nonetheless has been very entertaining for the neutral. But let's see if racecraft can be the talking point here. Let's see what is CCBRAIN made of in terms of defending his position. Game of the best, ramping up the speed. Is he going to go for an attack? No, I think he's just going to bide his time. Game of the best, far too experienced to make a lunge there. He knows that he would just get attacked straight back. So now, this is where CCBRAIN has got to defend as hard as possible. He's got to cover the inside. Game of the best is going to try and draw him out to get the inside. No, CCBRAIN closes it completely. Here we go then, CCBRAIN will go lay on the brakes. Will he go deep? The switch back for Game of the Best. No, CCBRAIN defends that absolutely brilliantly. So, great defending from CCBRAIN. The kind of intelligent driving we've come to expect from the German. But Game of the Best still has much younger tyres. He will not give up this chase. He is a shark who has smelt blood, and his prey is dead in his sights. So despite the number of retirements, that was some great racing action there. Game of the Best then continues his pursuit of the Mercedes driver. As we begin, lap 18 of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. 11 to go then for this stream, for the season. And now Game of the Best will try again. Has much more confidence despite the dirty air. Ran the bit wide. He was on full throttle there, throwing everything into this. Now will Game of the Best have a little look at the hairpin? Nope. He's going to follow the racing line, go as wide as possible to get the best traction. Now, what's Game of the Best going to do this time? Is he going to go for a more aggressive attack? Having seen what happened last time. Mix it up a bit. And now Lewis is out of the race. Another retirement. What on earth is going on here? We've only got 5 drivers who are going to finish this race by the looks of it. But enough about that. This battle continues. Well, it's going to be podiums for everybody at this rate. No points awarded if you don't finish, of course. And here comes Game of the Best. CCBRAIN will go lay on the race. Oh, they touch wheels. Game of the Best will go to the outside and then get the inside for the following corner. Not the best camera angle. Oh, CCBRAIN with a save-bind. Lovely slide there. Game of the Best takes the lead of the race. And now we'll focus our attention to Blizzard. Hasn't been able to get past Big C for the time being. He's going to have to pit soon. So the top 3 could well be decided right here. Although AMS on much fresher super softs is closing in on Big C. So let's have a look at Blizzard. If Blizzard's going to get past Big C at least to get a bit of bragging rights before he pits, he's going to have to do it now. And he's going to be well behind. But look at those names who've retired. Leon, Lewis, Big C pits. Big C pits for the Ultra Softs. Or is it the Hyper Softs? This is an interesting move from Big C. Let's have a quick look. I just want to see what Big C's doing. Switch between CCBRAIN. We'll come back to that in a second. It is Ultra Soft, so Big C could well be the quickest car on track. I wonder if Blizzard's trying to go a bit further into the race. CCBRAIN nowhere near close enough. So I think our closest on-track battle is going to be the battle for P3. So AMS then. It's getting a run on the new champion, I should say, the SR Blizzard. Here comes AMS. Down the inside, he goes really deep, but I don't think Blizzard's going to have the tyres to fight back. Or does he? He did a really interesting line, and it was brilliant traction. Here comes Blizzard, despite the 12-lap-old tyres, and he's going to fly past AMS. Cuts him off aggressively. So AMS, going deep in that corner, really compromised him. And that's going to cost him time. It's going to cost them both time. So don't rule out Big C yet for the podium. He's going to have sensational pace compared to AMS in the closing laps. Although AMS has the freshest super softs of anyone on track at the moment. Here comes AMS. That's not going to help with the tyres. Diving there. Just showing Blizzard he's there. With his Caterham helmet. So AMS trying to force Blizzard into a mistake. Look how worn those ultra softs on Blizzard are. He's going to carry on. And this is clearly Blizzard. He's going to try and stretch to the around the final corner. It's a terrible exit. Can Blizzard defend here? He's not going to cover the inside. And here comes AMS down the inside, and he's going to go up. But look at that. Blizzard getting the switchback. They're going to try and go side by side. Oh, Blizzard doesn't really have the tyres to challenge anymore. Oh, he has to back off completely. Oh, has he got a puncher? Or no, thought he had a puncher for a second, but no, he's okay. So this has been a very odd race, hasn't it? I mean, it's one of the oddest I've ever seen. CCBRAIN still in DRS range of Game of the Best, so his pace is still pretty decent. Doesn't quite have the straight line speed to challenge Game of the Best, who's done so well on the traction out of these corners before the DRS zones, respectively. So here we go then. Blizzard on lap 13, and Big C is absolutely slicing through the time of these two drivers. He came out nearly 19 seconds behind. Now he's 13.5, so he is not out of the fight for a podium just yet. So CCBRAIN carrying on then as we get a splendid shot from underneath the roof of the hotel. CCBRAIN impressively, despite being overtaken by Game of the Best, he's going to try and force Gamer into a mistake. And what about AMS and Blizzard? No, AMS scampering away. He's got to get a move on because Big C is coming. He is coming for that podium. And Blizzard will surely pit. No, he carries on. One more lap before the Hypersofts. But I dare say he's probably going to lose a couple of seconds to Big C at least. And yes, I hope we will get to see some donuts, guys. Oh, Big C, 136.531. And my goodness, Blizzard had to back off pretty much the entirety of Sector 1. It's lost probably nearly 1.5 seconds AMS in a single sector. At this rate, Big C will catch him before he even pits. Now CCBRAIN able to close in on Game of the Best. Game of the Best is out of DRS range now. With the fresher Super Softs, he's looking like the favourite to win this race. So the focus really is probably the battle for third place, which Blizzard, even when he goes on the Hypersofts, he will likely be out of it. Look how slowly he's going through these corners. It's not worked out for him, has it? Really hasn't. I get the sense we'll see some donuts from Blizzard before the race is over, because clearly he's not going to be a factor for this race win. Just going to enjoy himself a bit, setting the fastest lap on the Hypersofts. I think that's how he's going to end his season. It's still going to be P5, given how many retirements. I mean, some of the drivers, if they turned up tonight, might have had an absolutely brilliant day. Big C's already close within 7.8 seconds of Blizzard. Now, surely Blizzard's going to pit now. He can get the Hypersofts to the end from here. Nope, he carries on. Is he just going to carry on till those tyres explode like Falcons did? Who knows? He carries on. The gap between 4th and 5th now 6.4. He's got the car in mode 1. Got plenty of battery. Blizzard going very slowly indeed. Big C, we can see him just in the background coming into the end of Sector 1. CCBRAIN still, you know, not being embarrassed by Game of the Best at all. Still hoping to force Game into a mistake that would give him the chance to win this race. Don't believe Game has any penalties. Don't think CCBRAIN has any. although I might have missed some. There was a flurry of penalties early in the race, so I might have missed him. So the battle for the lead. The final PSGL F1 race of the season and of my commentary stint here in this top tier. It will certainly be a race of attrition. 8 retirements from the 13 who started. Oh, look at Big C, who's really able to push. And he'll have plenty of life in those ultra softs by the end. Blizzard certainly won't, because he'll have to pit soon for a set of hyper softs to finish. He's going so slowly. I mean, he may as well be in a Formula 2 car, I should say. Big C within 2 seconds of him. Blizzard's going to go one more lap. I think he fancies a battle with Big C. And I don't mind that one bit. So, Big C now well within DRS range of Blizzard, which given how slowly Blizzard's going is no surprise. So Blizzard, the new champion with the 7-time champion. Big C, this should be the easiest thing in the world. Blizzard has... Oh, Blizzard goes so deep out of the corner. Well, that was easy as you like. Big C won't have an easier pass all season. Is Blizzard going to try and come back at him? It's a really lackadaisical race from Blizzard. He just seems to be enjoying a Sunday night drive. Or Monday night drive, I should say. But absolutely no traction, not a hope of chasing after Big C in the DRS. So can Big C close the gap to AMS in the closing laps? Well, it's a tall order, 8 seconds in 6 laps. Don't see it myself. So Blizzard will end the season no better than P5. So no wins in the final 5 races, but you know, he's the champion. He won't be too fast really, but he'll have to pick it up again next season, that's for sure. With these kind of results next season, he will certainly find it hard to defend his championship. But when the pressure's back on, I'm sure he will be ready to go again. That's the man to beat next season. And Blizzard carries on again. 17 laps on these ultra softs. It's another driver like Falcon doing a Pirelli tyre test. Big C took 1.5 seconds out of AMS that lap. He was 8 seconds before the end of the lap. Now he's 6.3. So the battle for third may actually yet still be on. Oh, Blizzard! Blizzard spins! And it is an inglorious end to his season. Well, Blizzard are clearly fancying some rallycross today at Abu Dhabi. It's almost, there's no on-track action, so actually watching this car struggling around the track is actually somewhat entertaining. Look how worn these tyres are. They're almost a completely different shade of... Well, they start off sort of grey-black, and now they're almost dead black. Half the tyre. Huge lock-up there. So Blizzard, I think, is just going to keep going until the tyres explode. So clearly, he's not taking this seriously whatsoever. Another lock of the tyres. He runs wide. He's going to do some donuts for us, perhaps. A 5-second stop-go penalty. He's having a bit of a Fernando Alonso race, isn't he? Well, if he takes this flat, I wouldn't be surprised if he binned it into the wall. And as I say that, oh, massive lock, and he's going to spin it again. More donuts. Those tyres have got to be blowing up very shortly. We will focus our attention to the battle for third soon. But, you know, Blizzard surely come into the pits and put on a set of hyper boots and put some blistering laps just to remind us of your speed. Oh no, he's lost it again. There's no life in those tyres. They're absolutely gone. Surely one of them's burst. And he finally pits. A very entertaining lap, I have to say, from Blizzard. It was like something out of the Winter Olympics there. Dancing on ice there from Blizzard. In the desert. So what's it going to be? It is the Hypersofts. So expect Blizzard. It's got a 5-second stop go, don't forget. It's going to get lapped at this rate. Although he should be able to get out just ahead of Game of the Best. So the gap between third and fourth, 3.7. CCBRAIN, I think unfortunately his fight is over. 17 lap old super softs. He's going to have to nurse those now. Just reach to the end. So these super softs, when they go off, they really go off. So even though he's got a 15-second advantage to AMS, that could disappear in a couple of laps if these tyres suddenly go, because he is reaching the end of them. Oh, CCBRAIN. The car really starting to struggle with that fast section, losing more time. Let's have a look at Blizzard quickly. Blizzard then really pushing hard now. Don't think he'd want to get laps in his final race, so I think we'll go on board with Blizzard for what I think would be the fastest lap of the race by some distance when he completes it. So he doesn't track extend. As far as season finales go, this has certainly been the most unusual one we've seen. I certainly didn't expect to only see, about 5 drivers finishing. Look at the gap now, 2.5 seconds only between Big C and AMS. It's Game of the Best. Heads into Sector 3 with only 2 to go after this one. Of his season, and of course, the season itself. CCBRAIN, it's not losing time to AMS behind, so I think AMS is having similar problems himself. So Big C, he's got the Ferrari in his sights now, a podium. On Big C's 150th appearance at PSGL F1. There's only one driver more experienced than Big C at this particular level PSGL, and that is Iran, a 3-time champion himself. Here comes Blizzard. Oh, he's pushing to the maximum at the moment. So Big C now almost within DRS range of the Ferrari of AMS up ahead. The new Formula Performance champion, of course. So he's had a successful season there. He's had an okay season in F1, not quite as strong as the season before. And Game of the Best, of course, if he wins, he will confirm himself as the championship runner-up. So a very strong end to the season for Game of the Best. A victory in Singapore, 3rd in Brazil, and a win here seemingly at Abu Dhabi. So here we go then. Big C finally into DRS range of AMS. Let's just have a look at Blizzard quickly. Blizzard heading into Sector 3. Just want to see if he's going to set the fastest lap. Big C closing in then. On AMS, will he be able to make a challenge on the Ferrari driver? No, AMS will want to finish the season on a high with a podium. Hasn't had a podium this season. His best finish being a 5th place at Germany. So he's going to improve on that, whatever, until a 134, 5-1. Here comes Big C to the outside. He's going to try and get the move done now, but no. That was an audacious attempt. Yellow's in Sector 1. And here comes Blizzard. Here we go then. Donuts at Turn 1. We'll carry on with this battle though for the time being. This is the real business end here of the race. The final lap then, as Game of the Best starts it. Big C continuing to push. Blizzard really enjoying himself. We might actually catch a sight of Blizzard donutting off Turn 1 in a second, which would be quite amusing. So Big C getting a really good exit out of the final corner. The final battle action then of this race. Can we see Blizzard off track at all? No, we don't. He's carried on for the timing. Big C trying to challenge. They're a long way behind the leader. AMS running wide. And look, there is Blizzard. We'll switch to Blizzard quickly as he watches the 2 drivers go by. He's having a whale of a time out there. So good fun there, but straight back to Big C then. The battle is on. Shortly we will see Game of the Best cross the line to win the championship. Here comes the race, I should say. Here comes Big C. Battle for the podium. AMS will have to defend hard, and he does. Defends it for now. Although Big C goes through the inside. Who went through the marker first? That's the that is the detection point. Can AMS come back at him? He's running low on fuel, unfortunately. Game of Best coming through the closing sections of this race. Big C onto the podium. Can AMS come back at him at all? Game of the Best then, heading for the final corner. And it's going to be a third win of the season. And ending his season on a high and the PSGL F1 Championship. It's Game of the Best. What a magnificent display it's been in Abu Dhabi as the fireworks go off. CCBRAIN with a brilliant podium here, equaling his best result of the season. And we'll have to wait a little while for Big C and AMS. I'm not sure what penalty situation is, but Big C crosses the line to get P3. AMS will be P4. Any penalties? No, that is as you were. Game of the Best. Now where is Blizzard? Blizzard still doing donuts. And why not? Celebrating his championship success this season. And Game of the Best on his cooldown lap. What a drive from him today. Absolutely fantastic from Game of the Best. The best of the rest this season. And actually I think he's put the championship lead down by a significant amount to under 20 points. So that's something. Didn't quite have the consistency to do it. So cool down like that. Blizzard going through the final sector. I think we're going to get another minute of this. But absolutely fantastic race today. Had a lot of retirements. We still have some great action, especially in the middle as Blizzard does his best Lando Norris impression. Anyone who saw the F2 race will know what I'm talking about. As he continues to enjoy his championship win. And Game of the Best, you know, went into this race perhaps not thinking he'd be the favourite, but it was a masterclass in terms of strategy and racecraft where others lost their head. But it's certainly been an end of season feel here. A really entertaining, fun time for all. We'll go on board with Blizzard. It's got about a minute of celebrating left before this section finishes. We may get some more donuts. I'm not sure what they're going to plan. We shall find out shortly. So stick around for a few more minutes and let us know who your driver of the day is. I think it's a fairly obvious choice who the driver of the day is for me, but let me know who you think your choice is. Game of the Best will head for the line. Blizzard continues to celebrate. Game of the Best. The crowd rises to applaud the Williams driver, and he will round the corner, and we will see Blizzard celebrating right in front of him. And that's quite a fitting image. The two of the championship rivals congratulating each other as Game of the Best crosses the line. And we are about to end. And we ride on board with Game of the Best. Only 5 finishes from 13, but Game of the Best, the class of the field for Abu Dhabi in the final race of the season. Game of the Best punches the air in delight. CCBRAIN, a fantastic drive from him today. Didn't quite have the tyre life to hold off Game of the Best. Had to nurse it at the end. Big C, fittingly, as he did the last time we were here, along with Game of the Best, on the podium here at Abu Dhabi. 2 drivers in season 18 on the podium here. Once again here, 4 seasons later, in my final season finale in PSGL F1. Well, it's not going to take long for me to do the results, is it? So here is your provisional result for the PSGL F1 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Game of the Best takes the victory by 5.2 seconds to CCBRAIN for Mercedes. Big C picking up another podium for McLaren. It started the season so strongly with a victory at Australia, but this was only the 3rd time he'd been on the podium this season, so his title had really faded in the middle of the season. AMS in a solid 4th for Ferrari. And I think that did seal 2nd place in the Constructors for Ferrari. I'd have to check that. And VSR Blizzard, the only other finisher, celebrating at the end in P5. And look at that. So many retirements today. Unbelievable amount of retirements considering who we started with. And some very kind words from some of you in the comments. Really, really appreciate that. So I'm just going to put on a little image for you. We're going to see if there's going to be any additional donuts. So stick around for a few minutes. If not, I will let you know. So just bear with me a few seconds. Yeah, well, it all comes to me now. All the memories of all the races I've done. So many great races. So many brilliant drivers. Great admin team. You know, PSGL F1 is a real standard. It may not have the resources of some of the bigger leagues, but it's a league which, you know, people will come back to it. And this won't be the last PSGL stream I'll do. I have some plans for some classic races, some one-off events. And that is going to be absolutely brilliant. So just going to see if they're going to do any. If not, we have seen some donuts at least from the reigning champion. So we have seen plenty. And you know what? I might actually join in some myself for fun. Let's see what the others think. Hey, what do you think, the viewers? Do you think I should join in some donuts? You know, the commentator taking to the track in PSGL F1 for the first time. I think that would be quite nice. Let's see what they think. So definitely some special thanks in order. And I think, you know, firstly, definitely to Big C, Connor, because, you know, I had a chat with him just before season 18 to say, you know, about the commentating, and he gave me the opportunity. And that was great. So I really thank him for that. The funny thing is, when we had the conversation, I said I wouldn't ever be free for Mondays, and well, look where we are 4 seasons later. So that's quite funny. Some of the other admins I've worked with, like Tejuar, Webcam, McPhee, Iran, Hulkenberger this season. CCBRAIN, who helped a lot with the graphics, you know, the table graphics and the stream graphics that you've seen. Really thankful for his efforts. Of course, every driver we've seen in every race. Even some who made some questionable driving. So it looks like we are going to get some donuts. So excellent. I think I may have forgotten to select spectate, but that's okay. We'll get some nice camera angles. It looks like we've got 3 drivers who are going to be out there for us. So they will be on screen shortly. So for those regular viewers, let me know what sort of memories do you have of PSGL F1 in my time. You know, what were your favourite races? Your sort of top moments. I have a few in mind. Here we are, go straight into a race. Let's turn off the HUD. Here we go then. We're going to get some nice donuts from 3 of the top drivers of PSGL F1. And they are Game of the Best, CCBRAIN, and of course, VSR Blizzard. We're not going to do this for too long, don't want to be overkill. But it's fun stuff here from CCBRAIN. Let's hope they don't destroy their cars too much. No engines or gearboxes needed. That will be replaced next season. The development war will happen again. Setups. Who will dominate next season? I'm going to be a very interested viewer for this particular league next season. I wish the new commentary team all the best. And the one thing I will say is I replaced Malk and Craig Pinchbeck, who were 2 of the best commentators this league has ever seen. And I did okay replacing them. So whoever replaces me, don't be afraid. You'll take this league to new and greater heights. I have merely pushed it along. Try and get a shot of all 3 drivers. Here we go. I think we'll have a little bit of triple spinning action as they get closer and closer to each other. This was much smoother than when we did it in season 19 when I had to use loading screens, and OBS is just a wonderful, wonderful thing in terms of doing commentaries. I mean, it's once you use this stuff, it's just you can't go back to the old format. So it really has helped make this season May not have been the most dramatic season in terms of the title battle, but it really has, you know, helped make the production that much better. But as I said before, wouldn't be the same without the guys watching, wouldn't be the same without the drivers or the admins. I am merely the voice over the proceedings. That's all I do. As Blizzard slightly overcooks a little spin there. They're all close to each other now. I think we'll have another minute of this. Maybe they'll go in formation for us. Nice little moment there. And a final salute to the fans here at Abu Dhabi. A final salute from PSGL F1 for season 21. The final race of the season. Game of the Best winning here at Abu Dhabi. CCBRAIN in second. But it is Blizzard. VSR Blizzard, who is your champion this season, and he will have a hell of a task on his hands to defend the next season from a high quality field as he joins his fellow two drivers. Tries not to hit them. And I think they're about to do some donuts in the corner here. It's a classic location to do donuts. Or they're just doing a final victory lap here. Let's see if they can get a nice formation for us. If they go 3 wide, Game of the Best and CCBRAIN giving a really respectful salute. And that's a fantastic shot there, isn't it? Blizzard getting a utmost respect from Game of the Best and CCBRAIN there. 2 of his rivals this season. And that will certainly be the shot to go onto the Twitter later. That was great. As they do some donuts then. Well, I think folks, this is a fitting way to end it. And well, 4 seasons of PSGL F1. It has been an absolute pleasure. And I can't wait to see what happens next. So, I guess there's only one thing left to say. This is not a goodbye. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. A Happy New Year. And well, it has been absolutely fantastic. You have all been fantastic. And you know what? So have I.